Hey guys, Zach Calhoun here. Excited to have you. Whether you're brand new at virtual tours or you've been a seasoned photography or digital media pro for a long time, this video series is the best virtual tour selling content you're gonna find. So pay close attention because I chat with Ty Hurd out of Colorado, who's sold over 500 virtual tours in person, and he's showing us A to Z, every single step in his selling script, his selling process, what he does exactly, how he shows it, what objections he overcomes. As he says in an interview, sales is king. I do my very best to ask questions and poke and prod and pull out gold that I think you guys would have questions about as you go out there and provide this service in your local context. If you would like to download this entire interview in one big file, scroll below the video, click the link, and I'll send it to you. And of course, join our Facebook group, Virtual Tour Profit. Just search in Facebook and you'll find it and request to join the group. And then lastly, check out cloudpano.com. Become a Pro Plus member today as we provide world-class 360 virtual tour software to the community. We're excited to have you here and enjoy the interview. Okay. Hey guys, welcome. Zach Calhoun here. I have a special guest today. His name's Ty Hurd. I got associated with Ty recently because I saw one of his videos. It was super helpful to the 360 entrepreneur. We had some users who were asking me questions, and I thought, hey, let me call this guy, talk to him. Turns out we have a lot in common. He's a natural-born salesman, has a lot of experience in selling virtual tours in the VR space, knows the whole industry really well, which I'm happy to bring him on today. And I was telling him before the call, our goal is to help you guys go from zero, maybe just no experience or just getting started, to my hope is that through one call or maybe a few, become an expert and know what your path is ahead of you. So I have asked him enough questions to know that Ty has a lot of in-person sales experience and different than mine, which is great. So a new perspective, a bright, fresh look is always important. And I'm going to ask him questions today and just try to dig out all the good knowledge and gold nuggets. And if I see something that I think is helpful, I'm going to jump on it. And my hope is that you guys who are watching this benefit and are able to see, hey, the path towards having success in the virtual tour business with 360 or different types of VR businesses locally. It's not that complicated. You just kind of follow some certain rules. And so anyways, Ty, introduce yourself, bro. Tell us about your journey, your story, and just give us the kind of the background.
Okay, so yeah, my name is Ty Hurd. I'm a professional photographer. My specialties are product and business photography and primarily 360 virtual tour photography. So I do a lot of B2B type of work. I can definitely not stress enough that in-person sales is the way to go. You can spend a lot of time kind of running your wheels with email marketing, phone calls, things like that. And you may find a little bit of success there, but really you're gonna close a lot more deals when you can talk personally to the decision makers, face to face, on site. So yeah, I've been doing it for about 5 years now, and with the right approach, you should be able to go in and talk to a business owner. You don't want to talk to a manager. You don't want to talk to a clerk. You want to talk to the owner, and you should be closing 80 to 90% of your deals.
Okay, I like that's a big number. Okay, we're gonna see how today. How do we do it? How do we do that? So okay, so you said a couple things. I want to just kind of stop you. So you said B2B. All right, so business to business, super important because I think I love B2B personally. I don't want to do anything else, Ty. All I want to do is talk to a business owner or somebody who can make a decision and who has business funding. And the reason why is because if we're B2C or business to consumer, if I'm going to sell widgets or whatever it is in my entrepreneurial journeys, man, it's so much different and hard, and it requires so much capital up front versus a B2B service, which is what this is. I approach the business owner, I explain the value, and if he wants it, he thinks it's cool, great. Here's how much it costs, and a transaction is made. Like it's true alchemy at its finest. And you can get, and you know what, it's easy to figure out what the value prop is, right? It's not like this will they buy my widget, or B2C, or something like that. I love B2B. And a lot of times B2B, you can find their contact information. So if you are trying to figure out some context before you're in there, you can know, oh, okay, well, on their website, this guy's the manager. So I can walk in there and say, hey, it's Joseph here. They'd be like, oh yeah, he's back over here. So now you're in, you're past that first person, right? So I like that. It's cool, B2B. So tell me, okay, and let's go back even further. So you mentioned your specialty is virtual tours. I want to talk about like what type, because we got a lot of users on Cloud Pano who are coming in with their Insta360, or they're coming in with the steel shot photos, and they're going after real estate agents right away, which is okay at first to get some experience. But what kind of tours are you making? And then when you go to sell, let's discuss that process and how you pick your niches and all that stuff. But yeah, one step at a time. So how are you making these tours?
So I do all of my tours for the most part. I do about 80% of my tours with a DSLR setup. Okay. So they're very high end HDR shots. So I bracket all of my photos. And for those that aren't familiar with the bracketing process, you're taking several photos at different levels of exposure from the same exact scene. And that way you get the highlights and the lowlights all properly exposed. You use software in post to pull everything together so that everything in your scene is correctly exposed. It just looks really good. It is a bit of a process. So the way I shoot is I do 6 around, I shoot 1 up, and then every time I do 1 shot, I actually do 7. So each of my panos consists of 49 images that I use Photomatix Pro in post to do the HDR rendering. And then I use Auto Pano Giga to actually stitch the images into a final 360. And then I will go in using Photoshop just to final touch up, color correction, and to get rid of the nadir. And the nadir is the spot when you're looking down. So I will shoot the zenith, which is face up. I won't Photoshop that in. I want that to be right. But usually floors are pretty bland, pretty, especially when you're shooting, it's just a wood, something like that, carpet. It's real easy to touch it up in Photoshop. So it looks as if the camera is floating in space when you're looking at that 360 image through a 360 viewer. So you can look down, there's the floor. People want, they see them like, how did you do this? Like, is it a drone? What's going on? How come we can't see anything down? I'm like, oh, it's Photoshop magic right there.
Yeah.
And the majority of my customers are small business owners. So, mom and pop type stores. And we're doing this for Google Street View. Mm-hmm. That's a big benefit to them. So they're going to get more exposure on Google with photos and a 360 tour. So that's a big part. Now, it's not always in every business owner's budget to have me come in and do these really high-end DSLR tours. So I'll sell them what I call a point and shoot tour. And that's where I'll use like a Ricoh Theta V, an all-in-one camera where I can just go in, bam, fire them out. And those type of tours, if they're interested in having those posted to Street View, I can go in, fire off a tour in 10 or 15 minutes, and then 10 minutes later, it's live on Google. I'll take my phone and say, here's Google Maps, here's Google Street View. Look at your tour. They're just amazed that the process is so fast. The quality is suffering, but I can go in and complete a job, make a couple $100 in a half an hour. So fairly quick and easy to go in and do it. One thing that I definitely recommend if you're trying to get into the 360 space commercially is you need to offer additional services. So I always offer what are called keyword photos. So I'll go in with my DSLR and I'll fire off. You got to get a facade shot. So a good facade shot is key. That's what customers are going to be looking at when they're finding the business on Google, so they know where they're going. They know what to identify when they actually get there. So we'll do a good facade shot. We'll go in and we'll do some product photography, maybe one pulled back of the interior of the space, things like that. And there's a few more tricks. You can embed keywords into it to help rank them a little bit better using software. So there's a bit more, but when you can offer more products or services to a client, you have a higher chance of them actually being intrigued. So they may not want, I've gone in and had customers say, older customers that just don't know the 360 space. Like, what's this newfangled? I don't need the 360 stuff. That's the future. I don't need that. But I need photos. I need a front of the business photo. I'd like to take product shots.
Cool.
And it translates into a client like that. And then every client, I upsell them on a hosted tour for their website so that we can upload the photos to the web. We can embed them easily on their website. And then they've got the 360 tour right there on their website. So a lot of business owners are out there. They're actively promoting their website, and they want to make that website as interesting as possible.
Yeah.
Another key point when I'm selling this in, especially the hosted tours, and that's what I call those, is that Google will look at what's called a bounce rate, and you want to keep your visitors, your viewers on your website as long as possible. If somebody clicks in through your site and they leave within just a few seconds, Google says, that's a bounce. Whatever that phrase was that brought them to the site, let's rank them a little bit lower on that.
That's right. Yeah.
Tours are super intriguing. So you put that right on the front. That's the first thing they see. You know, your average Joe that's viewing it likes 360 content. They look at it. It's new. It's intriguing. It's engaging. And they click on it. And they're like, oh, this is cool. And, you know, they're moving it around and checking it. They're like, oh, I can click an arrow and move to the next image. And you know, hot spots, and you can embed videos. And that will almost always ensure that you don't get a bounce from that particular viewer coming from that keyword. And Google's going to say, oh, they were looking up Joe Schmo's hot dog stand or whatever. And they stayed on the site for 3 minutes. That's a long time. We're going to rank them even higher on that. Maybe they're looking for women's fashion and they go to a boutique. Well, Google's going to say, hey, they stayed on that site for a long time. Let's rank this website higher for women's fashion.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's a big selling. And most of the time, 90% of the 360 tours, if the customer or the client has a website, it's an easy upsell to sell them. Say, you need a host tour. It's really going to help retain people on your site, keep them engaged, and it's going to help your search results on Google. So
cool. This is tons of value. I'm like loving this right now. I'm like, yes, he knows about the website engagement for SEO. Man, I just learned about this recently, how I was talking to an SEO, a professional SEO. He's like, we're having a conversation, and he's going through how like he puts these videos on websites, and he's like, and the videos are slow and they're long. I'm like, why is this moving so slow? He's like, because I want them there forever. Because I'm like, well, right. And the same thing, he explained to me that when someone comes to the site, they search that term, whatever it is. It's boutique, for example. He wants them there for the longest time possible. And I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense because it's feeding back information to the algorithm on Google. Cool, high level stuff, right? But see, as a average Joe mom and pop, you don't know this stuff. But if there's people in the room when you're pitching, or if there's someone who's younger or someone who cares about SEO, they're going to care about increasing engagement, right? So it makes it very easy to justify the hosted tour. Like, you know, if a panel has the embeddable link, press publish, you throw it super easy, right? So that's cool. I like that so much because I like how you figured out, see, people watching right now, if you haven't figured this out yet, he knows what to offer and then why to justify it. It's such a big deal to be able to justify the service right then and there. And when you're in person, and I call them a hot prospect. They're hot. They're like, man, this guy's like, he's got it going on. You know what? He's right. I need that. It's only $100 more dollars. Well, do it. Swipe the card. You know. So it's like one of those things where he's got the whole process down. It's really cool. So.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this section of the interview. If you want this entire interview, an hour and a half, sent to your inbox, scroll below the video, click on the link, and I'll send it to you. Also, join our Facebook group, Virtual Tour Profit, and of course, sign up and become a Pro Plus member on cloudpano.com and receive all our full features, use your own domain name, and host your virtual tours for life. We appreciate you guys being part of the community, and we're excited to see you grow your business. I'll catch you in the next interview.